Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Ben Roethlisberger thinks Steelers on closer level to the Chiefs after big Week 10 win. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't just aiming for AFC North superiority anymore. After starting 7-2 and coming off a big win over an impressive Washington Commanders team, they are now aiming for conference superiority. Currently, the conference runs through the Kansas City Chiefs, but according to Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers are gaining ground on them. I think this puts us in a closer level to the Chiefs, Roethlisberger said via his Footballin' podcast on YouTube. Because we're a three-phase football team. We have all three phases that are really clicking right now, and what Russ, Wilson, is doing is kind of taking the offense with his confidence to another level, and I think we are just going to continue to see it. Obviously, he's playing well right now, and that's what we want to continue to see, and I think you're going to see the offense continue to grow. We had a little more trouble running the ball this week, but we showed that we can then throw the ball to make some things happen. The defense and special teams have already proven their capabilities over the first several weeks. The offense needed to gain some ground to show that the Steelers could be a three-phase team. With Wilson, they have done just that. Since Wilson took over as the starter, the Steelers have averaged 30.3 points and 382.3 yards per game. If you measure that against other teams' averages around the league for the full season, the Steelers would have the fourth best total offense and the third best scoring offense. That obviously will need to be proven over a much larger sample before they can start being labeled as a top 5 or even 10 offense, but it is a positive trend now. The Chiefs may be undefeated, but they don't look unbeatable by any measure. Recently, they have had a few games that came down to the wire, including a walk-off field goal block to win on Sunday against the Denver Broncos. Even with the slow start on offense to begin the year, the Steelers are just one spot behind the Chiefs in total scoring on offense. They aren't that far ahead in yards gained, either. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if the Steelers entered their Christmas Day matchup against the Chiefs with a better offense in both total scoring and yards gained. Until they beat the Chiefs, nobody will be fully convinced they can do it. They will have that opportunity in a month and a half on Christmas in the friendly confines of Acrisure Stadium. Steelers star LB fires back after Commanders TE calls him a dirty player. I ain't hard to find. Washington Commanders tight end John Bates believed that Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Throws was trying to do something dirty after the two got into a post-play scrap in the first half of the Steelers' 28-27 win on Sunday. I would say something like that has never really happened to me, Bates said. Like I said, I was playing through the whistle. It's just the way I play. If you go back and watch the film, in my opinion, it was him probably trying to do something dirty to me. Things happen. It is what it is. Queen and Bates get tangled up on the play, and Queen throws Bates over his shoulder by his arm. Bates believed that Queen was intentionally trying to injure his arm. Yet, Queen saw Bates' statement of the play, and explained that he was just trying to dump Bates after Bates played through the whistle, but that he was not hard to find if Bates still was mad about the ordeal. Tried to dump me, so I dumped him. If he's still mad, I ain't hard to find, Queen said on X. Queen had perhaps his best game in a Steelers uniform against a high-powered Commanders offense. Now getting ready to face his former team in the Baltimore Ravens, Queen hopes that his linear uptick in quality play continues. The Pittsburgh Steelers gained a walk-off win over the Washington Commanders on Sunday via penalty. I don't know how many games end on a neutral zone infraction penalty, but I'm guessing it's not many. While the offending player, Jamal Newton, has had the full support of his teammates, however, he also had good reason to be ready to fire off the ball. According to Sam Fortier of the Washington Post, Newton spent the game playing off a tell he saw from Steelers' Zach Frazier. The reporter writes that the Commanders' rookie read a quarterback sneak on that 4th-and-1 play from the Steelers, which prompted him to jump. He said he has to take responsibility and be more mature in the moment, but in that moment, he listened to his instinct. And his instinct said, go, when he saw his cue. Now, I don't know, tell Newton saw from Frazier that made him fire off the ball, perhaps thought he saw. I do know this is not the first time the Steelers had gone for it on 4th and 1 against the Commanders late in the fourth quarter, though, and they did run a play. The situation wasn't the same, a tie game with almost 5 minutes to play, but the Steelers were aggressive all game. Quite frankly, it's a lot easier to claim everybody knew the Steelers weren't going to run a play in hindsight. Steelers add WR Jamal Agnew. The Steelers kept Jamal Agnew on their radar for a bit, working out the cornerback turned wide receiver days before their regular season opener. Coming off a major injury, the former All-Pro has found a home around the season's midpoint. Agnew secured a gig with Pittsburgh on Tuesday. This is a practice squad agreement, one that could double as a bridge to the veteran special teamer working his way back to an active roster. The former San Diego Torero suffered a broken leg during Week 17 of last season, leading to an extended hiatus. Best known for his return prowess, Agnew boasts 6 career return scores. He and Steelers free agency addition Cordarrelle Patterson have combined for 16 as pros. Unlike Patterson, who has fielded only 1 punt during his decorated career, Agnew has 4 return TDs. His All-Pro nod came as a rookie in 2017, when the former Lions 5th-rounder notched 2 punt return scores and led the league with 447 return yards. Agnew, 29, also added punt return TDs in 2019 and 20 with Detroit. He notched a kick return score with Jacksonville in 2021 and added a Pro Bowl nod with the Jaguars a year later. In Jacksonville, Agnew also carved out a role as an auxiliary wideout for Trevor Lawrence. He caught 3 touchdown passes in 2022 and cleared 220 receiving yards in 2021 and 23. Entering the NFL as a corner/return man, Agnew has been an offensive player for years now. He played out a 3-year, $14.25 million Jags deal last season. Pittsburgh's exhaustive receiver search ended just before the deadline, with Mike Williams coming in for a 5th-round pick and soon catching a game-winning touchdown in Washington. As Williams joins George Pickens and Calvin Austin as regulars, the Steelers are still carrying Van Jefferson, Ben Skowronek and Scott Miller on their 53-man roster. Austin has been the Steelers' primary punt returner this season. It will be interesting to see if Agnew earns a role or merely resides as insurance in Pittsburgh. The Steelers also added running back Jonathan Ward to their P squad while releasing O-lineman John Leglue and wideout Lance McCutcheon from the taxi squad. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jamal Agnew? Leave your opinion in the comments.